Select a champion.
Come on.
Customize your champion.
Hey. No. Great, great, great. I get the lowest health too.
The pyre will be filled with blood. Prepare for battle.
Oh.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The battle has begun.
Ah! Oh, come on.
Enemy double kill.
I.
Does not stop me.
Ugh. I. Come. Ah! What? Okay, push up. Finally. I. I. Don't have no furlough.
Have you met my friends?
An enemy is unstoppable.
Okay, seriously? Ah! Okay, kidding me. Ah, you kidding? What the heck? Oh, there's a skill crazy way. Ah!
Point spawning in 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Best of luck.
Ah, come on. What? Oh, you fucking kidding? That damn. Oh. It's right there. Oh. Ow. Ah. Wow, you're so obsessed you came all the way here. Come on, keep a push. What? I don't believe it. Dude, just read the Overwatch pages. They're literally right there. You cannot be any lackluster and brave. Like you gotta be brainless if you cannot read their pages. Oh, come. You can't be this brainwashed. You cannot read the literal stats on the page and the stats on their site. Like they're telling you that Symmetra is the strongest character because she have like 60% win rate, and yet she's so complex that people barely pick her. It's obvious on the page. Alright, don't have sound. I hate that. Like how is it hard to read? For real. Like the Overwatch page is telling you she's literally the best heroes in the game. Even the devs say, "Oh, Symmetra is statistically the strongest hero." They literally say she's statistically strong. Her stats shows that she's strong. She literally can do. Is the only champion in total outside Ultimate who can do 300 damage per second. So her having a while to do a get set up and charge up, yep, that balance her. Because any champion that can do over 100 per second have to have a long set. I can't believe I can barely hear anything. No, that's all I can do now. Okay, push up. I got a team who were too scared to push. I read the page, I read the profile, I actually played the game. I don't have the second beta, that's why I'm not playing it. I want a second beta. Unbelievable how.
Enemy killing spree.
Yo, you kidding me with that? Ah. Like, people have this hard time of reading. It's like, Symmetra is so bad, except she had the highest win rate. Symmetra is so weak, except she does the most damage in the game. She just have a long setup to balance that out. It's like, it's balance so hard for people to understand. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't hear her today. Like, it's very simple. She does so much that she can do so much damage in a second that they have to balance her by having her have a long setup. How is that hard to understand? It no, it didn't. People have a hard time reading because if that was the case, other champions would still have a high rate for the past year as well. Except she's the only one. She's literally the only one. People think bad. People hate old Bastion because he was too stationary and stuff, and yet his win rate is not as high as her when people play less of him. Like seriously, you can't say that. The reason Bastion is bad is because his place out too stationary. People tend to not move. That's literally every champion. You literally describe every champion. That's literally how every champion is played. That's literally how every champion is played. That doesn't explain anything. That's literally they literally tell you how the game is played. When people are losing, they want to get to the objective quickly, they're going to swap to champions with high mobility, like 76, Genji, yeah, and all champions like that. I literally just explained it. I literally just explained it. The devil trying to say her win rate may be the highest because people swap up. But again, that's literally how all the champions are played. That's literally you literally explain. They literally explain to you how the game is played. But the problem is, if that was the case, why is Anna the most played champion and yet she still have a medium win rate? Why is Reinhardt one of the most played champions and still have a medium win rate? Yeah, it's because they're trying to give you some indication that she may be inflated, but that inflation does not explain why she still have the highest and had the highest for over a year. Because the reason players are saying she's weak is because they used to using her ult fire. I literally did a map. Do you know how long it takes for her ult fire, our primary fire, to beat her secondary fire, it takes 5 seconds. 5 seconds of shooting her main fire to get close to the damage of an alt fire in Overwatch One. Guess what happens? They end up using the secondary fire more than the main fire. Now they put more power in the main fire, and people are saying that she weak because you know what they do? They still use her alt secondary fire the most. Literally, they gave her 3 more seconds of use of her main fire. That's why they removed it. You I literally just explained it. They removed the high damage on her all fire because she can literally burst down people and once DMAC Diva and Tracer have 150 damage. How much did her all fire and a melee did? How much? They have 150 hit points. Her all fire and fully charged all fire and melee did 150. Do you see the problem? Junkrat can do self damage to himself. Also, Junkrat have to trap people, throw a concussive mine, and shoot them at the same time. She can literally just do it with her alt fire. That's it. Well, he can't anymore. He used to be able to. But that's the problem. It took people rely on her alt fire too much. Do you not know Blizzard have the stats on what you do in their game and what you overuse in a game? That's why they still trying to finagle Junkrat damage around. Well, no, it's Farah that can do self damage. Did they remove that yet? One of them AOE to do stuff, but she was literally the only one who can. Once Symmetra get fully charged, literally she does the highest damage of the game. Even Zarya still does less damage fully charged. And the thing is, you can't get fully charged off Symmetra main fire with Zarya. Bashing you have to set up. Torvo, you bashing you have to set up and nobody have to notice you. But that changed in Overwatch 2. So you only have a limited amount of time to do that. People just wait out what is 6 or 7 seconds, maybe 8 now, depends. I haven't seen any stat change on bashing. But after that, you have to use a weaker version. So that's limited. Torvo, you have to let his turret just get full rain of you while he's shooting you and up close. I literally tell you're not listening. You're not listening. You're not listening. Stop typing and listen. I literally say when Symmetra is fully charged, If you want to have an argument, listen first. You cannot talk like this and not listening. I never know a Symmetra weakness. I never know a Symmetra weakness. I never know other hero strengths. I am simply stating that when Symmetra get fully charged, she can literally run over everybody. And they gave her more power in her main fire. That's not dismissing him. In Overwatch 1, Bastion have to literally set up in a place or try to set up in front of the other team, which gives them time to mow him down. That's balance. That's what I'm saying about Bastion. Same thing goes with Symmetra. Same thing goes for Torvor. Torvor. I can't pronounce the name right. I'm getting this game confused. The same thing go for all of them. The reason they also do high damage because they have to set up. That setup is balancing them. I'm literally saying that. What we're anti what? I'm literally telling you that Symmetra player relied on her alt fire, her secondary fire, too much, which is why they nerfed the damage. If you don't know that, go back and watch their videos and you'll see. They even at close range, they will still spam her secondary fire at close range too much. To fight a tracer, they relied on that secondary fire being fully charged and a melee. I'm literally telling you what people did at all levels and you won't listen. It's called reading. It's called reading. When you look at the people videos of people who complaining about her, what are their main complaint? It's the fact that the secondary fire damage is lower. That's their main complaint. Why? Because they overused it. Why do you think they nerfed the damage on the secondary fire? Because they overused it. They can literally Blizzard can literally pick any character who plays Symmetra, any not character, any player who plays Symmetra, take one of their games and watch it in full. They can also pull up the stats of that same player and what they did and what they used the most and how long of that same player. They can do that for every single player. And they found that people are using Symmetra secondary fire more than they are using her main fire to do damage. Because the damage of the secondary fire can keep up with the damage of the main fire until you get to about 5 seconds. So, because of that, they will rely on her secondary fire more than a main fire in a fight. And that's what they're trying to prevent. So they put more damage or more uptime on her main fire, and yet everything they did to her secondary fire is to keep the number of shots the same, but they look and up the speed so you can have better um, chances to hit at further range. They literally doubled the speed, so you can have better chance to hit at further range. They just lowered the damage, so you cannot spam it at close range. They literally trying to get you to see stop using the secondary fire at close range. Use the main fire. The dev literally when you wanna know how the dev the the devs is saying what I'm saying? Look at the stat change. That's how you can tell what the devs are saying. Look at the stat change. It went from nearly about 5 seconds of firing both of them to equal the same damage, except at 5 seconds, then the primary fire will outpace it about 5 seconds. Two, them lower it to the point where to fire two shots of the secondary fire, you will get 200 damage versus 180 in two shots of the secondary. So the secondary would do 180. The main fire, if you add the first second, which is six, and the second section, which is 120, that's 180. The secondary fire, you add two shots, that's 180, right? But because the secondary fire has a point one or point two, it says point one, but people calculate as point two. But because of that, when you add up, plus you give the main fire another point two, you get nearly about 200 damage versus 180. What I'm saying is they need to make it so both of them at 2 seconds does 180. That's what they need to do. And that's what they're gonna do if you read what they said. They're gonna make both of them, they test it out to make both of them have the same time frame. To, you can do two shots with Symmetra, or you can do hold the beam down for 2 seconds to get the exact same damage output. But after that, the beam would outpace it. So you have to learn. You have to learn. They want you to go in and either start using the main fire first, or charge up a secondary fire, go in, hit or miss, and then start using the main fire. They just don't want you to rely too much on the secondary fire anymore. That's literally what they're telling you in the stats and what they wrote. When you look at the stats, they picked 90 total damage for a reason. It's because when you add in both of the both of the levels of the secondary fire, I got burnt. When you add both of the levels of the secondary fire, you get 180. Two shots of the secondary fire, you get 180. When you add both of the levels of main fire, you get 180. They literally are telling you they want you to learn how to balance using the primary fire with the secondary fire without over relying on the secondary fire. That's what they're telling you. But people are so upset about the secondary fire. They're not upset about the increase in time. They're literally more upset about what they are upset about the increase in time. They're more upset about how the damage got cut by 30. That's what they more upset with. And I'm saying that they even in the dev saying they're not changing the damage. The dev made explicitly clear in what they said and what they didn't say is they're not changing the damage of the secondary fire. They're working on everything else about the secondary fire, from the time rate to the size to the they work on a time to charge, to the size, and to the what was the third one? Charge time, the size, and something else. I can't think of it right now. But they're saying they're not changing the damage of it. That's what they literally saying when you read what they said. They never mentioned the change to the damage. And with the teleport, the reason they're looking to lower the teleport time down by 4 seconds is so you cannot have it sit and forget it. I'm not. I'm literally stating facts. You're up in arm about this. You literally came to my channel to talk about this. That's you. You're literally describing yourself. It's projection something you're not getting. Do you not get how you're projecting right now? I literally stopped talking about this in the which come hours ago. I haven't said anything till you brought it up, and yet you still miss what the devs are saying. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not invested in playing a hero at all. So I'm telling you what they're doing, so you can either be happy about what they're doing or be upset, and you're more upset. I don't. I literally I I play Paladins more because I have the funds for it. I can't afford Overwatch. I literally don't have the money. You see that little counter at the top of my screen? I'm literally trying to do. I'm literally playing something every night on Twitch so I can get partnership. Because right now I'm in a literally do or die situation with my life, my landlord, and all of my bills, including my medical bills. So I'm literally trying to get help just to pay my light bills. So I'm trying to at least get something coming in. Yeah, that's why I'm telling you. I'm telling you they over nerfed it. I'm telling you they over nerfed it. And I'm telling you how they're gonna fix it. They're gonna lower the time down to where her primary fire and main fire is gonna do the same damage at 2 seconds. They're gonna try to finagle it in so you her prime soon as okay, you have to have a choice. This is how what I'm telling you they want you to try to focus on. They want you to focus on using maximize using all of her abilities. Here is how they want you to do it. They want you to set drop her turret, do the what they call turret bomb, which is I just call it turret teleport, but less long winded. They want you to drop a teleport, drop the turret, teleport in, charge up, go in, shoot, then start beaming. They don't want you to shoot, miss, hit or miss, try to shoot again. And that's what most people will do. They will if they miss the also what I think they should do is with the turret setup is not have the turret go off until she made contact with somebody on the other team, like they did with I keep wanting to say Torvo, but that's not his name. Basically, they made it so his turret work on his fire. What they may do with that is they may lower her turret by one, so she have better control who is attacking. But that's gonna cause some damage problem. They have to really rework her damage, which they don't want to do. So what they're most likely gonna do is they're gonna make it so her damage for all fire and the main fire is exact same for 2 seconds. So you cannot overly rely on it. And I'm telling you how they're gonna fix it. What they're going to do, based on I'm using based on what they're saying, because unlike many people, they cannot read context clues. They're going to lower the um, charge time of the secondary fire to the point where 1 and 1. So you have 1 second of charge the secondary fire, and 1 second of charge the main fire. Where for that brief time, the secondary fire is going to outpace the main fire. But the second, they're going to be equal in damage. And then the third second, the primary fire is going to be outpacing the secondary fire. That's what they're going to do. That's what they want to do. They want you to stop relying on the secondary fire too much. And that's what I'm telling you. People over rely on the secondary fire too much. That's why they literally, if you read it on the change they're working on, they're making it so you cannot overuse the secondary fire anymore because they never talk about upping the damage anymore. They literally told you in that message they're settling on 90 damage. Period. No changing. If you read what they say, they never brought up the damage, right? Am I wrong? It takes a second for it to reply, but they never brought up the damage because 90 is a set amount. The thing is realizing. The thing is realizing, though, is that the reason why she relied on? It's because her secondary fire did 120 damage. When you do the math, at 2 seconds, she does one 180 with her primary fire, but she does 240 with her secondary fire. At 3 seconds, the secondary fire is still outpacing the primary fire. At 4 seconds, they're even. At 5 seconds, that's when the primary fire just started to outbeat the secondary fire. But but if you look at the secondary, okay, this is how you know what they're trying to do. Look at the secondary fire cost, ammo cost before the change and ammo cost after the change with the added ammo in. It's literally the same amount. You literally still get 10 shots either way. Before the change, it will cost you 7, which in is 10% of 70. After the change, it costs you 10, but you have 100 ammo, which is 10% of 100. So the ammo change is the exact same, right? The ammo cost for the secondary fire is the exact same. The problem, I say they over nerfed it by adding more time to it. The time should stay the same or be 1 in 1 second to balance that out. But the damage of it is exactly where it needs to be. That's what why they you're literally explaining what they want you to do. You literally explain why they nerfed it because you're not taking a risk with her. You would rather play overly safe than to be with your team and push hard. Literally, they might up the range of the primary fire. They might not. The reason they have that range is because when you look at Zarya range, she literally outrange her. They might up the range, but at the same time, they don't want you to be able to do damage far enough away from people who have a harder time getting close to you. But look at Zarya range versus her range. Zarya have more range than her, but at the same time, she have better movement tech than Zarya. Zarya have a secondary fires movement, but that does damage to you and unreliable. Where she has a teleporter, so she can teleport back and forth while Zarya just have to run to her. So they literally made the range shorter than Zarya, so Zarya can come up to you. They trying to give every champion a fighting chance. The the beam. Do you know the beam actually increased in size, not just in visual size, but literally in size of hit size when it's fully charged. It's just not just a visual; it's literally hit size. They're trying to make it more consistent. You're missing the comparison. The comparison is not their class. The comparison is their beam. You're missing the comparison again. I'm telling you, the reason, oh wow, I'm getting draft frames on. The reason they doing this to her is because people overuse her secondary fire. And if you go back and analyze, if you have videos or even watch your own gameplay of before the changes, you realize actually you even did that. Unless you just started playing her, you wouldn't notice that you were doing that. But um, when you analyze your own videos, you realize, like, look at my champions. Look at my highest champions now. Look at I play frontline the most. So in Overwatch, I go back to the same road. They call them tanks. But this is who I play the most. If you notice it, I have in every class I still have people who are at level 0 because I don't play any other role except frontliners. My attitude is I'm up front protecting my team. If I can keep them from attacking my team, I'm doing my job. So if you playing Symmetra, I'm going to play somebody who I can stay close enough to you, and at the same time, if they try to jump you, I can protect you. But I'm not going to sit there and babysit you. So you have to understand, if I'm giving you an opening to charge your beam, do it. Because you're not reading. The reason they nerf the damage is why you're not reading. Their devs are not thinking it. They have the statistics. They have the statistics on which attack you're using. No, reading and understanding is not the same thing. Reading and listening is not the same thing. You can hear what I'm saying, but you're not listening to what I'm saying. I sound like a father right now. Ugh. I have to. I'm so used to training people, even on paladins, that I tend to go into coach mode. I literally had a friend who did not. I literally had somebody who I ran into who didn't know how fun Yagara could be. Oh, why is she not pop out? Who didn't know how fun Yagara? Oh, this is bug. Who didn't know how fun Yagara can be until they watch my video. There she is. Till they watch my videos and then they say, "Oh, yeah, 2 CP gone, right? That was Symmetra Bet's maps, and yet she still have a 60% win rate, even though it's gone. She have less frontline slash tanks to charge up her beam, but they realized that because her beam would charge up on the few that still remain, without any way to protect their team, they had to remove that for balance sake. 2 CP is gone. 2 capture point. For people who don't know, 2 CP is 2 capture point. So they had to remove that because um, it was overpowered against a few frontline slash tanks who has shields. But to balance that out, they put it in. They gave her more ammo. So they gave her 3 more seconds of uptime to balance it out. Also, the problem was it wasn't that. The problem was with that little ability is she will regain ammo. She didn't if she stayed at the same ammo or lost ammo slowly, like if she got 50% of her ammo back, that would have balanced it in Overwatch 1. But she gains ammo from shooting shields. That's a problem. Like Torval, yes, I'm using him. Torval Nullify or no Recharge used to drain shields. It literally used to drain shields. Like if you look at this picture, you probably can see it because my thing. That's how it looked when you drain shields. So they removed that because they realized that was overpowered. Any frontliner who has a shield, you literally were making him stronger by having a shield. So they had to remove that. The same with Symmetra. She was gaining. They admitted to overdoing it. They didn't admit to the choice was right. They over nerfed her. Read what they said. They said her buffs were outshadowed by the nerfs, so they overdid it. Outshadowed. They literally telling you, no, we don't regret nerfing her. We regret over nerfing her. We added too much. With nerfs, with buffs and nerfs, you don't want to go past 2 to 1 in any way. They went what 4 to 1? Yeah, that's too many. Read what they're saying. I'm literally telling you what they're saying. They regret over nerfing her. Literally, there has been a lot of changes over to the effects dimension, like 2 CP being removed, one less tank per team, less barrier, and over and overall more offense, more aggressive playstyle. Her playstyle is more set up playstyle. That's what I'm saying, telling you. Because she has to set up, you would think she would be weaker. But it's turned out, no, she just as strong. So if she has less of the things that made her strong in Overwatch 2, why is her win rate still 60% compared to everybody else? Like personally, I think that the win or loss should go to the champion you played the most during that match. But it doesn't. It goes to the champion you was on at the end of the match. That's why if you load into the game and you haven't picked a champion, and or if you haven't left spawn and you get a defeat, you get no win or loss because you haven't picked one yet. You may get a defeat on your record, but not on your. Yeah. So did a lot of people. The people who thought the Earth was flat disagree with people who told them no, that's not right. I don't care. The whole world could say I'm wrong. I still don't care because the facts shows. You can say it. I don't ever come at me with this appeal to authority BS. Never try it because it's always gonna fail. What you just did is called appeal to authority or appeal to popularity. Using the top 500 and the player base. Yeah, don't do that. Using the top 500, which is appeal to authority, and the player base was you use the top 500. You use the top 500 that's appeal to authority. The devs are the people who created the game. The top 500 now. Even they even admitted when they made change to Reaper that they're trying to not do top down change it. When Sojourn Alpha One of Sojourn, the top 500 player, which top 500 and the Grandmaster and all the players that the screams and stuff who played the Alpha, they say nerf Sojourn, so they nerf her too much. And when they nerfed her rail shot too much, and they had to revert some of that because it used to be point 0.5, 1.5. They went to point 0.5, and they had to put it back up to 1 because they nerfed it too much. The same thing they did with Symmetra here, and that's what I'm telling you. Symmetra is doing too good. Again, if the maps that made her strong, having two tanks with barriers made her strong, and having uh, uh, a more offensive playstyle, even though her playstyle should be more set up and defensively, her win rate should went down. But it was only like 2 or 3 days that it dropped below 60. At the start, it dropped below 60, but I don't give the first 3 or 4 days any credibility because the first 3 or 4 days, most people wasn't really playing anybody except the new champion. Like the same thing you're gonna see with Junker Queen, which I want to know her real name. I don't believe she ever stayed there really. But what's gonna happen is more people are gonna want to play the new what the new hotness, and then they're gonna go back to playing, trying out their regular champions in the game, and that's what I'm telling you. Like I even play game against Symmetra, and I realized that if she has any protection at all, because it's one less barrier, she has any protection at all. If you don't have anybody who can literally just bliss her, she will literally just wipe out your whole team. There's really not much you can do about it because you have one less protection, and she can just do that. But people still were relying on her secondary fire too much. So they're trying to balance her to where she's not overpowered that way. You can tell what they're doing by what they say. People still assume, even the devs see it, still assume Symmetra is a defensive style, have a defensive play style, but she has a very aggressive play style. It just takes a few seconds to set her up, but once she gets set up, she can go in and do a lot of damage. But they realize that that's because people would overly rely on her secondary fire. Because if they have a trace on their team and you can look two tap her, it's not one shot because you have to right click and melee her. She has no time to react. She has no counter to that. If she get hit once, if she's not quick on the draw, she's just gone in less than what is 0.5 seconds. And if that can be explained by a little lag, because you can have lag and you can get hit, have a little lag, and not be quick enough to notice that you got hit in melee. Yeah, even still, you can try not to get hit and still get hit. Because even the thing is, Tracer is technically in the same space, but not in the same space. The way they program her is she's there, but not there. So she, if if there's some lag in the system, she can blink, and yet her the lag is causing her to still be in the same space she was in, so she can get hit, and the damage would just transfer over to where she blinked. And the same thing can happen the other way around. And any player can tell you, Tracer have a set blink distance, so you can get used to knowing her blink distance by instinct and shoot where she's going, not where she is, and still hit her. So you can, as a trace, you can come in, Symmetra charge her beam. You shoot a few times, blink. Symmetra can turn around, shoot melee where you are going to be, hit you and kill you before you even know it. Because you assume she's gonna fire her beam, her not beam, the or where you are, but she just hold it for a split second longer, then turn around and shoot you. I see that in videos. I watch over 50 videos that shows that. Like this is a mind game setup. But again, it's appeal to the dark is literally a fallacy. If you don't know what fallacy is, it's not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a system that people use to try to justify what they're saying. No, I'm catching up to what you're saying. The devs did not say the change were wrong. They say the change overshadow the nerfs. Read what they say. They literally use the word overshadow. The problem is what players see. Players don't. What is it? I can't remember what it calls. I'm thinking sunk cost, but that's not it. It's basically like I said. If they're yeah, but they have to charge. Oh, Hanzo, it take Hanzo 3 seconds to charge up his shot. You have yet to use any logic. You're using your feeling. And I keep telling you why you're wrong, but you won't listen. Also, I seen your name early. I'm like, oh, OW. Let me guess, Overwatch. I see this coming. The devs did not say the changes were wrong. They say they overshadowed her changes. If you listen, you will hear this. They literally say they overshadowed her changes by having too many nerfs at one time. What they could have done was just did not put all of the changes in. If they had two changes to one buff, people would have been more happy with that. But they had what 3 to 4 changes to one buff. It was overdoing it. That's what the dev said. But you won't listen to that. N- Tracer is not stronger or weaker. They, I don't think they changed anything about Tracer. Like they probably did today, but they haven't in the past. Like Tracer is probably one of the most balanced champions they have because they put so much into her at the startup. Plus, she has low health but high burst potential. She literally her and Diva have the two lowest health outside of her mech. I mean, Zenyatta technically have the lowest health points, but overall total health with shields and everything, her and Diva have 150 outside of her mech. Symmetra could one shot both of them, or two tap. If you count, if you only count her using her weapon, it's one shot. But if you count her using a weapon and her melee attack, it's two tap. It's not two shots because she's not shooting twice, and it's not. I mean, you can say two hits, but that's why they are reducing the damage, but they're working on everything else because they overshadow her changes by having too many nerfs, two buffs. If you listen to that, you will understand why. What I'm saying is they did that. They admit to that. The problem I'm saying they did is they went too far on the nerf. People have a set time frame on charge to shoot, and when that was changed, it threw their set time frame off by too much. Even if it was like what a point one change, that's still too much for some players to get used to. Widowmaker and Hanzo literally have to charge up their shot, and that can take 3 seconds. And guess what? The same thing can go for um, Symmetra. It literally takes her 3 seconds to charge up her beam. With Omega, it take 1 second to pull up the scope. Then you have to start wait for the charge, and that can take 2 seconds. So in total, it'll take 3 seconds. And if she already have the scope up, she has a recall, which after shooting it take like zero point 0.5 to 1 second to adjust. Because the person moved greatly, you have to fall from the record, then track move to them, then shoot again, and that can take 2 seconds to shoot again from missing. So that's why they're balanced. They can may be able to one tap you, but guess what? The time to do that is great. So if you're a Symmetra and you caught and you die just dodge their first shot, you're gonna win that fight. You have a higher chance of winning that fight if they miss their first shot. If they come into the fight not charge up, you can't win that fight. Also, you can use your turrets as to block their first shot. That's another thing people forget. That her turrets can actually block projectiles. Also, she has the highest shield. Like people think her shield is a defensive option. No, it's an offensive option. If she put that shield up, you better start running. Because then you have the shield dance with her, and if you try to shield dance with her, you can end up in a losing situation because she can shoot through the shields where you can't. But also the stats doesn't show Tracer much stronger. The stats show Tracer is middle of the road. But again, you won't listen. Nobody will listen. I told people that if you add up everybody overall damage plus max charge and everything, Symmetra the only hero that can do a consistent 300 damage for more than 6 seconds. If she have time to set up, which can take roughly 5 seconds to do all the setting up, because it take roughly point 0.5 to point 0.7 of a second to throw out turns. So that could be up depends on where you want to set them up and that could be up to point 0.2. Then after hitting with her beam, she have to charge out for 3 seconds. So after all that time, she can have a 5 second chart wind up time, which is why she's balanced. But when you get that wind up time to 5 seconds, you can do roughly 300 damage per second. And they gave her 3 more seconds of that uptime. So they're telling you you're overusing her secondary fire by that simple fact. That's it. And I'm telling people I can see in your playstyle that you overuse it. You can't slow and drop frames. Why is the champion stuff not clear? I'm simply using the stats, the information they put out. They even put out the first beta. If you look closely, even though it's faded, you can see Symmetra is the highest champion, and yet she won the highest win rate champion, and yet she's
Siege. Choose your champion.